Snapchat ads are one of the most affordable and actually high-performing platforms out there for reaching Gen Z and millennials. And right now, you can take advantage of Snap's revamped platform to get better ROI than before. In this video, I'm going to show you how to leverage Snapchat ads to grow your business without blowing your budget. Whether you're just getting started or looking to refine your strategy, I'll walk you through the steps to drive real results on Snapchat, from getting your account set up to optimizing your campaigns for maximum ROI. And as a bonus, I've got a free ad credit for you to get started, which will help you test and experiment with Snapchat ads without breaking the bank. More on that later. So stick around. Let's dive in. Now, before we jump into the setup, let's talk about why Snapchat ads are so effective even today. Snapchat reaches 75% of 13 to 34-year-olds in over 25 countries with a combined $5 trillion, that's trillion with a T, in buying power. That's a huge audience ready to engage with your brand. Not only that, there are 469 million daily active users on Snapchat, and 34% of them are more likely to buy products from a Snap ad than any other platform. And that is absolutely huge. And lastly, Snap ads are still affordable, especially when compared to platforms like TikTok and Meta, meaning that you get more reach for your dollar while reaching an audience that's highly engaged and ready to purchase. So if you're targeting Gen Z or millennials, Snapchat is still one of the most cost-effective platforms to reach them, and it's only getting better. And that's music to my ears, at least as a marketer. All right, so now let's get into the setup. First things first, let's talk about how to get started with Snapchat ads. The process has actually become super simple, and Snapchat is making it easier than ever for you to get started without spending a fortune. This should be pretty easy to do. I'm doing it real time with you right now. Okay, now you're basically in, right? So it basically has you setting up a campaign pretty quickly: awareness and engagement, traffic, leads. Just depends on what you want ultimately. And so if I'm looking for leads for my business, for example, for single grain, I'm going to click on this one. And then you have different ad formats here as well. So story ads, you all are probably familiar with already. And then a single image or video ad with 4 tabbable titles as a collection ad, and then single image, right? And then you can have these different outcomes here. And then I don't have any additional or old campaigns, but you can load from a existing campaign, so you'd have to reduplicate and then go from there. This is how we log into the account. Now that your account is set up, let's talk about the Snap Pixel. It's one of the most important tools for tracking your ad performance. It's no different than the other pixels that you use with the other platforms. You want to set up your pixel too, so ad readiness status too. So you want to hit setup over here to get the pixel going, and then you can name your pixel. Like, I'll just call mine single grain pixel, and go from there. And then what you would do here is, once you have this pixel, you want to make sure that it's set up on your site, right? And so you can invite a developer on your team. You can do that. So you can add an email, and then they'll get the instructions for it. And then also at the same time, you want to make sure that you're setting up different events on your website too. So for example, if someone opts in for a free consultation for our site, that's a lead. That's a lot different than somebody who opted in for email sign up, right? And then this allows, Snap can kind of figure out more information and kind of auto detect things going on with your pixel, right? And then basically you have an option to set up the conversions API. So aside from being over in the settings section over here, if you go back to overview, if you want to set up your pixel correctly, make sure that you hit set up Snap Pixel, and then you can have a pixel setup tool over here to set events directly to your website, and then you can also set it up manually too, right? And now that we have the basic setup, let's dive into creating your first ad campaign. Snapchat gives you 2 options here. You got manual bidding or automatic campaign. Automatic campaigns are a templated experience informed by data that Snapchat collects from the user's website. In our case, we're going to go with the manual build route so that we can get a look at all of the features and customizations available. What you want to do is just go and hit create ads. And then let's say I start with awareness engagement over here. That's going to be my objective. I am going to say, let's go ahead and create something manually initially, right? That's how we want to get started. And we can take a look at all the different features and customizations that are available. And then from here, you can choose to load existing campaign, and then you can make adjustments here depending on what it is that you're looking to do. And then you just continue to move through, make sure you can set the start and the end date. You can have different split tests as well, which is ideally if you have different creatives you're constantly testing. And you can choose to move to next, and then from there from a tracking standpoint, you have your Snap Pixel, app ID if you're promoting apps, and then target size. Just like any other platform, you want to make sure that you're continuing to narrow down. You don't want to just target everyone. There's a lot that you can play around with here in terms of placements, targeting, and everything. I think targeting, you definitely want to narrow down. Age, you definitely want to narrow down as well. And then from there, you're going to just constantly be testing, right? But hopefully you have a lot of data already from your audience. And then frequency cap too is important, because you don't want to just let it spam everybody, right? And then you just keep moving here. My thought here is that because Snap is so used to having stories kind of the default, and you can see it's selected as default here, that might be a good place for you to start. And also, I'm assuming that you're making stories and story form type of content on other platforms. That makes a lot of sense for you as well. So the moment that you've all been waiting for, this is where the bonus credit kicks in. If you're new to Snapchat ads, use the link in the description and Snapchat will match whatever you choose to spend on your ads. So if you spend $350, they'll add another $350 to your campaign. This will give you an extra amount of ad spend to test the platform risk-free. It's definitely worth taking advantage of, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video for you. If you want the ad credit, very simple. If you've already logged into Snap, it's very simple. Get free credits. It's on us. Spend 50, get 75. Spend 350, get 375. You can just hit get it now. And the link in the description over here is reaching them Snap audience on Snapchat. So this is what you get over here. They're actually giving you even more money than what I thought. I thought it was 350 for 350. And so I think it's worth doing some studying and opening up Perplexity Labs for some deep research. Opening up OpenAI's deep research, and then kind of taking a look at using the O3 Pro model or using the deep research model to take a look at what makes sense for you to attack for your business. Here's the problem with most marketing agencies. They don't understand what is happening with the world of AI. With my agency, Single Grain, we think about agentic workflows. We think about creating agents for the future. When we think about SEO, we think about creating different products, such as internal linking products or content consolidation products. And on the other side of things, we think about building products such as Care. We just think about making marketing easier overall. If you want to stay at the cutting edge of marketing and at the same time leverage the power of AI, go to singlegrain.com and we'll see you on the other side. So now let's talk about creating killer ad creatives. Snapchat users have short attention spans, so it's critical to grab their attention immediately. Okay, so now we're in their creative library sections, and all you need to do is click on the top left side and then go to creative library. And then what you can do is you can just hit new creative. And then this is where you can name your ad, and then you can choose if you want to make a story ad, a single image ad. But I would say in most cases, because you're running ads, you want to drive them to something. Maybe they're driving to a freebie, or maybe driving to some cheap offer. That's what you're looking to do, right? And headlines you can generate with AI. There's a lot of different tools that you can use out there. You can use arcads.ai to make creatives for you, and look at UGC creatives that you like. I would save them all the time as you're scrolling through, whether you're scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. Save all these things, and then you can drag them into tools like ArcAds, or think about how you can be creative with VO3 too, and then and go from there. I would say spend more time here, because creative is the X factor that's going to help you be successful with your ad campaigns. The key is to make sure that your ad stands out immediately, whether that's through bold visuals, intriguing statements, or catchy sounds. You got to hook them within the first 1 to 3 seconds. And now that your campaigns are running, it's time to test and optimize. Testing is the key to improving performance and getting more out of your budget. The cool thing is Snapchat's Campaign Lab allows you to split test your creatives, fine-tune your ads, and get real-time feedback on what actually is working. Okay, so now we're in the Campaign Lab section over here. So once you click Campaign Lab, you can see the different types of tests that you can run here. So creative split test will be testing different creatives, right? So maybe you have option A, option B. Maybe there's a little subtle nuances. Maybe the hook's a little different, but everything else is the same. Or you're testing different audiences at the end of the day, right? So maybe you're targeting ages 13 to 20, and then 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40, and you're seeing what performs well for you. Or you're looking at targeting geographically, right? And seeing how these audiences perform. Or you're looking at just targeting different audiences based on maybe different sections they visited on your site. So you have a lot of different options here. Goal split test too, you can try to test awareness versus conversion and just see how that performs for you. So it is important for you to know these metrics when you're testing. You should understand CTR. CTR is your click-through rate. So the more people that click through, the lower your cost per click. People actually clicking through to your website or your app, it's going to be cheaper, which means hopefully down funnel, your cost per acquisition is going to be a lot lower, right, over time. So and that's where you're looking at the overall kind of enchilada, like how much you spend overall on marketing and how efficient were you with that spend. And once you found what works, it's time to scale your campaigns while maintaining or improving ROI. And then ultimately what matters here is once you have results, you see what's happening here, and then you go to manage ads. You want to see how stuff is performing over time, right? You want to see stuff moving up and to the right. You want to see costs coming down. And what you're looking at here, like I mentioned earlier, is you are looking at your click rate. How many people are clicking through? Like if they're not clicking through your ads, it's not inspiring them enough to take an action. Maybe it's not interesting enough to hook them in, right? And you do want people to click, obviously. You are looking at your impressions. How many people are actually seeing your stuff? 2-second video views. Are you actually hooking them in, right? And you have a lot of different metrics here you can play with, but it can get really confusing if you try to add all these things at once. So just, take it one step at a time and test with a small amount first, see how it goes, and then you can do a little bit. And then once you start to get a lot more comfortable with it down the road, instead of saying a little bit, maybe you just throw, a significant chunk of your initial budget and just test, because you're just looking to collect a lot of data initially, right? That's what this game is at the end of the day. Gradually scaling up your budget while monitoring performance ensures your campaigns stay on track and maximize your ROI. You've got to stay on top of your numbers. You got to make sure that you don't have ad fatigue, and that's how you continue to ramp up and make sure that you're staying on top of just testing across the board. Again, creative testing, ad testing. And that's it for this video. Now that you've got the tools to start running Snapchat ads like a pro, you are now ready to optimize for success from day one. If you want to learn more about the basic marketing principles to help you craft your Snapchat ads, check out this video over here, and we'll see you in the next one.